What is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf, and today's show is packed full of stories, so be right back. Remember, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views on the show and the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, and please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, please remember to sign up for our alerts at marfooglenews.com. You can actually get a push notification directly to your phone if none of the platforms are doing it for us. Again, you can also sign up for our email alerts. We send out a special email. We don't blitz it. In fact, we don't do daily. We don't even do weekly. It's usually if it's an emergency or if it's a monthly kind of newsletter type of thing. So make sure to go sign up over there. With that being said, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is, of course, Marfoogle News. We have our co-host. I'll introduce to you guys to him in just a second. But first, I want to remind you, all of the news stories that we have here today are on our website, marfooglenews.com. In fact, if I refresh, actually, you'll see, is it the worst year ever? And the title may change depending on the algo gods. And then, of course, it has this. Once you click on it, it's very easy to find. It's by this thumbnail, of course. And then you will see that every single article, every single tweet, every single video is there for you to access. On the right, if you want to support the show, you can go over there and do so. You can find our affiliates. You can also find our PayPal link, which a lot of people ask, what is the best way with the least taken out? That would be it. Of course, all of that is on the right side if you want to support the show, and all of the left side is what we do daily before every single show to make sure you have access to everything we say here, where it's coming from, what the source is. So with that out of the way, let's bring in Dex, and then we're going to get into our first article, which is a doozy, that's for sure. Dex, are you there, and can we do a sound check?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So obviously, this is like somebody pointed out, I always say, obviously there's a lot going on. That's like my every show saying, and maybe I need a new one, or maybe I should just stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to. Is that how the song goes? I know that some TLC fans are rolling over in their graves.
It is 2020, so I think that saying works just about every day.
We'll also notice I said they're rolling over in their graves. TLC's not that old, but again, I'm sure a lot of you just got mad. Either way, there's a lot of crazy stuff here, so stay tuned. At the very end of the show, we're going to be going over some special stuff as well. We also have live callers. If you want to call in tonight, anyone is welcome to call. You will be getting a hold of Dex at 2244000Marf. That number is going to be scrolling on the black line. The blue line is down below. That is actually the donators from the last show. You will end up on the next show if you do it this time. And then, of course, the number is there, 2244000Marf. Again, that's 22440006273. Make sure to press option 4 once you get to our phone tree, and you'll get a hold of live Dex. All right, and then just to get right into it, China's secretive crash, nuclear buildup revealed. So I've talked about this for a long time. As far as the 3 years that I've been on YouTube, I've been talking about how I believed, and this was 3 years ago, I believed that they were building a whole lot more than what they were giving up. In fact, if you go back to my earliest videos before the discovery of the Navy, the Navy manufacturing, the tank manufacturing that they were doing all in different countries, actually. Again, we actually called that, and luckily that was because of our military groups back then, that they were mass building ships, and that they were doing this under the guise of cover. They were actually under these humongous structures that made it look like regular ground. So if you were looking from a satellite, you couldn't see this. And people said, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. And then it came out, they actually had photos from the ground level of these secretive areas, and they were mass building ships. And now it all makes sense. The task force just came out, the China task force for the GOP just came out and said, that they are now the largest navy in the world. They surpassed us. Not only did they surpass us, now they're about 70 or 80 ships over us. So they were mass producing. Of course, China is known for its production. It is one of the highest producing countries in the world. It's known for its manufacturing. So I don't know why people didn't think if they did focus all their efforts into military that they could do it. Not only that, they've got us on population by a billion. 1.4 billion people in China, and their military is gigantic. It's absolutely huge. It says China is rapidly building up its nuclear forces, including the expansion of plutonium and uranium plants, as part of a secretive crash program to add warheads to its growing missile and boomer forces. And I say boomer on purpose. Ask a fellow Foogle family member in the chat if you don't know why. According to declassified U.S. briefing slides obtained by the Washington Times, it says the 4 slides were part of a recent briefing for NATO allies in the past month on Chinese nuclear forces to show facilities that appear to have sharply increased in size since 2010. Isn't that funny? I've been saying this since before, and I passed that on, and nobody believed us. Again, that was not because I have a crystal ball or that I'm the Mr. Right. It's because of the Foogle family members and the military group members that we have in our group. They were telling us that this is our number one concern. Back even when Theresa May was basically having her defense minister come out and say, we're switching all of our money from, Middle East, that kind of threat, to Russia and China. And it was all put out right in front of us. It was displayed out. But of course, there's been kind of it's like only certain times they cover it. A lot of it distraction, of course. But this one, it says one plutonium production area, the Jiaquin atomic energy complex, doubled in size at a nuclear reprocessing zone in the past 2 years alone, and added another reactor in the past year. So what is the pattern here? Obviously, they have basically beefed up their military. They've beefed up their navy to the point where they have now surpassed us, and all in the last couple years. So for somebody to tell me that they're not preparing for a massive, conflict, I don't know how to take that, because honestly, you've got the propaganda, which is, of course, you've got Global Times, their state-affiliated government-run newspaper, saying that they reported that they told their soldiers to write goodbyes to their families and to say goodbyes to their family. You have Xi Jinping publicly telling his military to get ready for conflict, and he used the W word. You've got him talking about the divine order, this thing where basically they would be the ruler of the planet, that they basically won't give up until they are. And then you've got all of the side stuff, everything else that's been going on around the world, other countries basically seeing this as well and blocking them out and trying to stop it. A lot of people fear this because of how they run their country, not exactly because of what they've done to them on how they actually run their own country. A lot of countries do not want them to become the number one superpower, which, again, I know that there's a lot of people that have these old school values and say, oh, they'll never be up to par with us. Maybe not. And maybe they won't be publicly, because the United States is never going to, just put all of its cards out and say, hey, we're here. Of course not. But military might, as far as on paper, we are falling behind. And that is because for 8 years, they actually reduced it, saying, oh, it's peace on earth. Then it ended up not being so much so. Now you've got several things going on all at the same time. You've got even, there was 70, or I'm sorry, I might have even been, Dex, and you can fact check me on this. I believe it was 70 nuclear scientists all resigned on the same day. This is a government-funded job. They quit on the CCP, which is a huge deal. It's not like you're just quitting for Boeing or something. These were state-funded government workers who quit being nuclear scientists all in the same day. And it was in a response to something. All the other countries covered this. They had their news cover it and said, this is, whoa, what the heck were they basically responding to? What did they
90.
have such a problem? 90. So 20 more than I said. 90 out of what they estimate, because there's no clear number put out, is about a force of 200 nuclear scientists that they have doing all of their research and development. Their nuclear missiles, everything weapon related these guys were working on. Half of them resigned in a single day. Why would they do that if they're going to have basically a sign on their back? Why would they do that if they are going to screw over their government, which it's not like it's the nicest government to people that aren't patriotic or anything? And what were they responding to? Why were they all quitting at the same time? Did they have something come down the order mill and say, whoa, we're not having the blood on our hands. We're not participating in this. Nobody talks about that. And I think it's extremely important that those scientists quit. It's not because they brought an order down that said, hey, we're going to, make energy-free cars or something like this. Oh, I don't want to be a part of that. No, it was something bad. And most likely, it's something that we will see eventually. What do you guys think, though? I always love to read your opinions as well. Please leave a comment after the show or put it in the chat. It says U.S. officials view the significant construction at Jiquan as part of the what the Pentagon said recently is a plan by Beijing to double the size of its warhead stockpile in the next decade. China has more than 200 warheads and is building more for its growing force of a multi-warhead missiles. It says intelligence from the briefing challenges widely reported studies on the Chinese fissile material. As recently as 2017, international experts concluded that China ended plutonium production for weapons in 1991 and uranium production for arms in 1987. It says, quote, the world deserves to know what China is up to. They have never admitted how many nuclear weapons they have and how many they plan on building, said Marshall Billingsley, the State Department's lead envoy for arms control. So basically, they say publicly that they stopped making it in 1991 and for arms in 1987. Basically, they're saying that's not true whatsoever, and they are secretly doing it behind the scenes, or at least that's what is allegedly happening. So, who knows what's really going on, but obviously I personally believe that we are basically getting ready for the biggest conflict we have ever seen, and all of the signs are there. Everything is there. People could say, I feel people are grasping onto the fact that, oh, it's just a big distraction. It's the positive mind. It's the half glass full saying, this is just a big distraction. It very well could be. But if it's not, I think we should all be prepared for anything. And I mean anything, especially if you're on the coastlines, east or west coast. So going into the next one, first I'm going to be hitting up the chat. Thank you guys for all being here. There's lots of Marfia in the crowd. We've got Rapture Soon 2020 says sometimes governments will just use propaganda to incite fear in the hearts of potential enemies. So with China, those 90 scientists, they could have done that on purpose and vaguely left it like that. So the other side says, whoa, what are they doing? That's actually a good point. You were probably saying just in general, when they have the Global Times tell, the soldiers, they report it publicly that their soldiers are saying their goodbyes. Kind of like when Russia about a year and a half ago said, called all of its collegians back, called all these people back, all these people in important positions said, come back to the homeland. That was kind of like puffing their chest and saying, America, we're ready. We're grabbing all of our people back and we're ready to go. I think a lot more of that stuff, goes unseen and people don't really understand that there's signs like that. When TMan was possibly on a boat a few weeks ago, I that's my belief again. I believe that was purposely put like that to it's something that 99.9% of people would have missed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the video just a couple weeks ago. T-Man's on a boat. It was that whole time when he was at Walter Reed. As far as when he sent the media back and then did a mysterious drive-by without, rolling down the window in a mask, everything else. The one video had him floating. That 99% of people never caught. But once you caught it, you saw it and you're like, whoa. Even if it's a stabilized lens, gimbal, handheld, whatever it was, basically it made most sense that he was on some sort of floating thing. And if that's the case, nobody would have saw it. Nobody would have really paid attention. But once you saw it, other countries would have saw that. Analysts for other countries, all of the countries, people said, oh, you're giving up. If he is on a boat, you just gave it away. No, they have analysts that purposely saw that. And I think that was almost on purpose, saying, I'm on a submarine somewhere, or I'm on a boat somewhere, or I'm on an aircraft carrier. We're ready to go. We've got 2 Mercuries flying around. That again happened. There was 2 of the Doomsday planes flying on East Coast and West Coast the same exact time. And they have an excuse for everything. They say, oh, well, they're up all the time doing drills, and that was on purpose, and that was planned, and this and that. They plan it every day and plan it all these times. So they can say that. As far as the Mercury, the football was seen way too much. I mean, yes, it goes with them everywhere, but all of a sudden it was popping up in all of these different places. So you can look at it both ways. You can look at it from the skeptic point of view, or you can look at it at the crazy point of view. As far as all this goes, though, obviously something is going on, and we're all distracted. We're all fighting each other, and we're not looking up. We're not looking to the skies. We're not looking outside the box, and that's where I think we should be looking at. Johnson, thank you so much. Shy the Coffee. I wonder if those 200 million sick hogs buried got into the groundwater and got China sick. I don't know. As far as we're going to cover some of that today. Scary. Boom, boom, planes. Cool Ant. Thanks, Lisa K. Says Morning Flower. We've got Zookeeper Kim's. Thank you so much for your lemons. Maui Racing Realtor. Chevy Mike. Thank you. Cameron Combs says, Marf, your screen keeps shaking a lot. Maybe your camera. It shouldn't be. That's weird. Let me just make sure, check something. But thank you, Cameron. I appreciate that. Teresa, thank you so much for your support. You can always write something with that as well. Make sure to do so. If you do a super chat, you can actually write, especially if you do over a $2 super chat. It gives you more space to write the more you donate. Little Prez, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. TIE, thank you so much. Hand Over Fist, thank you for subscribing. Tony Davis, welcome to the Foogle fam. Patrice Gravino, Cavaria 1, we've got Carter's Creations, Ikara Skill, 787, thank you so much. Evelyn Bradford, D Programmer Shepherd, welcome to the Foogle fam. All right. So getting into the next one, we've got TMan talked out of launching a missile strike on Maine nuclear site by top advisors last week. So did we hear anything when this happened? Of course not. Dex, I'm going to bring you in on this one. What do you think? Why do you think they're even telling us this? We're just a few weeks before we're supposedly going to be switching presidents. What do you think all of this is coming out for? Why do you think this would even come out?
Hey, Adam, are you talking about the Ryan topic? Okay, yeah. So this is interesting because it's been coming up a couple times, and we heard something a few days ago that there was suspicion that this might be going on, and now we've got a story that says that maybe there was something planned and then it was pulled back. We've talked often about, there's always struggle. There's typically these conflicts that sort of cause distractions, right? And I don't know that that's what this is. By any means, I'm not saying that's what TMan would be doing, nor am I even saying that this is legit. Right? This is coming from the news. It's coming from the mainstream, which says all sorts of interesting things right now. So I think we have to look at this and try to determine, do we think it's legit? Do we think it actually was something they were going to do? Do we think it's, misinformation and it's really a distraction? I don't know. But it is kind of scary when you think about it.
So another part to this. So this is about a week ago. We're talking early November, right? As far as early October, say there was something like this that was going on, but they wouldn't tell the public until later. Of course, we don't know the exact time frame on this. Of course, this could have come out and the time frame could have been wrong. But one thing I want you guys to think about is, so say the president has these scheduled kind of meetings, and when those go off track, usually something is going on worldwide, because usually they're in the Situation Room briefing him or doing something else regarding it. They're talking about it, having emergency meetings. If you remember when the Russian scientific sub, it's so secretive that nobody, even our secret agencies, say that they don't know 100% about these subs and what's in them. It's one of the deepest diving subs Russia basically had. It caught fire. 14 of its sailors passed away, and at their funerals, it said that these men died saving the planet from a planetary catastrophe. That's what the military said at their military funerals. So that triggered a lot of people. When that caught fire and when that got towed back, that same morning, President TMan was taken off. His whole schedule was cleared. I remember asking Dex. In fact, I asked you, Dex, to check all of their schedules and what was going on. T-Man had his schedule completely clear, which is extremely rare. This was in the middle of his presidency. It would even be more unbelievable if he was golfing or something else. It was nothing. And then Mike Pence was on a plane, and he ended up, they said that he never left Washington. I don't know if you guys remember this, but he was in a plane, and at first they said, his plane was rerouted, turned around midair to go back to meet. Then the Cobra, British met with their defense ministers. Russia had their Ministry of Defense meet. All these different countries met in an emergency meeting. And then China, Xi Jinping had this meeting. So something big happened. I mean, we're talking about planetary catastrophe. All of the main governments had an emergency meeting that day. But one thing that we can see from that is we can see these patterns. Obviously, his schedule was cleared. We've had a lot of this stuff going on lately. So what is really going on behind the scenes? Obviously, we have the event that everybody's talking about, the switch over from this to that. Of course, people are worried about something happening in the time frame between now and the 20th. Lots could happen. Lots. So what do you think about this? This is some pretty crazy stuff. It says, T-Man brought his idea to advisors, including VP Pence, and it said Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Acting Defense Secretary Christopher C. Miller, and Chairman of Joint Chiefs Mark Milley at a meeting in the Oval Office last Thursday. The New York Times reported Monday, citing 4 current and former U.S. officials. It said that he asked senior advisors last week about launching a strike against the I country, and it says in response to its growing nuclear program, an alarming new report claims. That meeting took place a day after international inspectors informed the president that Iran had significantly increased its stockpile of nuclear material. So remember, we took out one of their war heroes last year, Soleimani, and that was something that did not sit well with all of the country. In fact, half of the kind of the regime over there. So they say they're planning something massive. They're saying it out loud. Last year, we also found out from a report that 1 in 100 people from that country are apparently sleepers. So we have all these sleeper cells in our country. That's insane to think about, that at any moment. And we're talking about real James Bond kind of stuff. You know, James Bond is James Bond, and then there's James Bond in real life. And it's even scarier. In fact, some experts have said over the last few years, especially in some of these really good documentaries about it, is that the real James Bond type of stuff is actually more advanced than some of the stuff they did in James Bond. We're talking fake mask, surgery, doing surgery to look like somebody, body doubles, all sorts of crazy stuff. Gadgets, you want to talk about gadgets? We have some of the craziest gadgets in the world. Same with Europe and even same with Russia and China. Insane stuff. In fact, Russia came up just recently. Our agents, our CIA agents and our other agents, they were catching up. Russia had gadgets for their actual agents, handheld, kind of everyday carry secret agent stuff. We were catching up to them, and it got admitted in a governor's report last year. So if they house in their country one of the greatest inventors in the world or something like this, basically, there's always going to be an inventor, and where's that person from? You know, people assume that we're always going to have this advantage over other countries, but that advantage comes from having some of the smartest people in the world. If there's a smart inventor born in Russia, we do whatever it takes to get that person in America. If they're born in Zimbabwe, it doesn't matter where they're born, we try to get them on our team. But as far as there's been some incredible scientific advancements just in the last couple of years. Insane stuff. We've got Russia to establish naval base capable of supporting nuclear-powered ships in Sudan. It says the future base will expand Russia's ability to support naval operations south of the Suez Canal from the Red Sea out into the Indian Ocean. It says President Vlad has signed off on a plan to establish a Russian naval logistics and support base in the East African country of Sudan. This will be the country's first official military base on the continent since the fall of the Soviet Union and only its second formal naval facility abroad. It says the other being Tartus in Syria. It says the Sudanese base will offer a valuable additional beacon location for Russian Navy warships to stop and resupply as well as perform maintenance. Why would they need that? These are all questions that we should be asking. We should be watching all of these stories as they happen, and that's what we're here for. So make sure to tune in. We're going to follow this story. We're going to follow the building of this base and the opening of this base and everything around it. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you, everybody over on YouTube. Sandy Stamps says, this is now a spiritual warfare. Stay strong and know that God will prevail. Thank you so much, Sandy Stamps. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you being here for, gosh, now over 2 years. So thank you. Paul Theriot says, space to write. That's awesome. Well, you've got space to write, so you put space to write. Cameron Combs, again, I appreciate that. George Brumfield, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. And then tons of folks have flooded into DLive. I thank you. I think it looks like we actually have a lot of people over here, so thank you. Let's see. Silverman, Scan Family 5, Coolant, Cheryl from Daytona, Durango, Nibiru. It says Scooby Dooby Do Right, Duckhawk, Cactus Patch Girl, Mike S, One Adam 12. We've got Ganana, Don't Hate Donate. Thank you for the ice creams, guys. Patriot Trucker. Let's see here. Tall Drink of Water, Laura Griffith. We've got Jammer 1, what's going on? Our lovely mod, aka Channel Jammer. Tall Drink of Water, that Chalky Gal, Sims 1891. Thank you for celebrating a 1 month sub streak. And thank you guys that are gifting out subs there. I really do appreciate that. All right. Getting back into it, before we do, make sure, so first off, if you want to protect yourself against a potential EMP, in my eyes, there's really one way to do that right now, and that is to get an EMP shield. This is the same company that has not only been contracted by multiple government agencies, worked for DHS, DOD, and now officially a part of the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. This company we were with before all of that stuff kind of went down. The DHS, Department of Homeland Security, put out an EMP resilience report that told Americans and told the president that every American needs to prepare for 6 months to a year of water and food just in case our power grid goes down. They did that for a reason, and they were giving us a big heads up. That, again, is something that would happen, and if it does, we'd be screwed. Well, in response to that, the president actually signed an order immediately to go in effect, and ever since, this company and others are helping the country get prepared for anything that may come our way. You can actually get a device just like all of these other ones for many things. You can get one for your car, your house, your generator, your solar system. People don't think about that. If your power goes completely out, if the grid goes out, people go, oh, well, I've got a generator. What if your generator's fried? Do you have a cage around your generator? It's pretty big cage. Or a cage around your house? Of course not. You can hook one of these up. People say, I've got solar. Your solar can be fried as well, especially if it's an incredibly powerful EMP. You can get this. It protects against all 3 phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. It is actually protecting you against lightning as well. That's the cheaper. The device is cheaper than just one payment if your house got fried. And then, of course, it protects against natural solar flares, which it's been over 100 years. They say it happens on average every 100 years. And it's just a matter of when, not if. So again, that's marfooglenews.com/EMP. marfooglenews.com/EMP. That helps the channel and it helps yourself protect yourself. All right, let's get into it. Dex, let me check over on here. Let's see here. Let's get that in there. All right, one sec. It looks like we have Mona Lisa, a first-time caller, hearing about lockdowns round 2 from Georgia.
Hey, Adam, are we doing the calls now?
Yep.
Okay. 1 minute.
All right, so we're going to get Mona Lisa on. In the meantime, Lil Prez, thank you. Jay Morales, thank you for subscribing. Lots of new subscribers today. I appreciate that. If you are watching the replay, make sure to subscribe as well. We end up going back through and we do shout out people that subscribe afterwards as well. It will just be on the next show. Keith and Queen Brat says, Queen Brat has been hearing sonic booms in small town Idaho. Do we have an Air Force base 25 miles away, but have never heard sonic booms before? Love you, Queen Brat. So we've had jets flying over for a week and a half. Actually, now about 3 weeks. And nobody's reporting on it. This is the weirdest part. Usually you can at least find Facebook posts of other neighbors saying, what the heck is up with this? But it seems like they're disappearing. Because I know that people are seeing them. I know that people are posting this on Facebook. And I know that something is going on with that. Because usually you can search, or it's with the search. Because when you search on Facebook in local areas and stuff, you can find that stuff normally. If you look it up, you can filter it down to recently. There's nothing for 2 years. We've had the Blue Angels here before 2 years ago. Why is, searching jets? Why is it there's nothing? It's just weird to me. And we've had sonic booms here. Have you had sonic booms where you are at? Sometimes it's hard to decipher if it's actual fireworks or if it's something else. If it's I guess if everybody's been blowing off fireworks for the football games, but sonic booms are pretty unique, to say the least. So, Dex, do we have Mona Lisa?
Hey, Adam, I'm having a problem right now. Can you give me one more second? Let me get this figured out.
No worries. I'm going to go to the next article, and then we'll touch back on that. Okay. So let's see here. Could the Air Force X-37B become a laser or missile firing space drone? So we talked about this on our other channel, Marfoogle News, where we did the weekend recap. And I wanted to further ask the question, what do you think that this is? Now, this is a picture of it. It's covered almost like they covered the new cars when they try to do the camo, so you can't tell what's under the covers on a new model. So they'll race it, but they don't want you or competitors to see what it exactly looks like. This thing is covered up in like tape and paper. I don't know if that's so China or Russia doesn't see our design or the shapes, or they can't do something. I've noticed that they did multiple different colors and marks. Is that so they can't take a computer program and get the exact measurements from it? What do you guys think? In fact, I'll go over to the chat right now. So let's see here. Johnny Doom, let's see here. Thank you for, if possible, don't lock down. Once rights are gone, they will not come back. I believe that. There is a meteor shower going on this week, says Jammer. Appalachian Girl says, it's me, Miss Dawn. Had to change my name. Awesome to have you back. Heat shields. So, okay, so do you think that these are permanent? Is this stuff permanent? That's one question, because this looks like, junky. I understand the theory of heat shields, but would they put this on every time? Or is it a one-time thing for just coming back in? Will they launch it like this, and then when it comes back in, all of this burns off? That actually makes more sense, and I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. But look at the drop. Is this part of the wings, or is that a drop bay? It must be a part of it. This must be a part of how it flies, or jets, or something. If you look at it carefully, it really does look like, it almost looks like a clip. These are missiles that drop out or something by gravity. I don't know. They must be wings. They must be something that is just for the flight. But it almost looks like there's kind of a rounded part here. So hydraulics. So these lift up into it. So do they drop something? That's not the landing gear. But it does look like they almost close up into it. What do you guys think? Blocks being detected. Looks like a boom bay to drop the booms. Of course, I'm saying that wrong. Lion's heart done in pieces like a puzzle. Yeah, I've seen several people say that it looks like a cargo hold. Somebody said a camera bay. That would make sense. Yep, seen it on 2 different lives. Let's see here. I don't know what you guys saw, but make sure to let me know if there's any problems. I'm never fast enough to get... Oh, that's too bad. Somebody will get you one. Heaven lay. Let's see. Patriotic truckers. Satellites come out of there. Oh, that's actually a great point. You know what? That's probably the best one so far. I agree that looks suspicious, says Just a Girl 1406. Cargo bay or camera bay? What do you guys think about that, though? Some say that this is supposed to launch other satellites. Some people are saying it's a weapon of some sort. I don't know if this one has actually been around the block. I thought this was possibly the one that was flying the longest flight out in outer space, but I don't know. Let's see here. What do you guys think it is? Put it in the comments below. Make sure to press that like button. It really does help the show, and it helps the channel. They've changed the algorithm so many times. It's hard to keep up with it, but now it does appear that does help us get a little bit more reach as far as to new people. Obviously, people that are here and come every night, thank you so much. If you can share this with a family member or somebody else, it would very much so help. Of course, we get most of our stuff dinged, or even if it does have an ad, it's kind of the bottom of the barrel yellow ad. So thank you guys for supporting us in any way, and that includes sharing this with family and friends. We need to expand. We're trying to bring on more people. I would love at the point where we could create more jobs. I wish we could create jobs, period. So thank you guys for supporting us. Thousands of chickens cold in Denmark as a new bird flu outbreak emerges. It says Moscow, a bird flu outbreak has forced Danish authorities to cull some 25,000 chickens in central Jutland, according to the country's Veterinary and Food Administration. It says, quote, samples from the Statens Serum Institute showed on Monday afternoon that a chicken herd in Trustrup near Randers has been affected by the contagious bird flu H5N8. How many of these things do we have? It says, which has a high mortality rate among chickens. It says the agency said in a statement. According to the release, all infected birds were culled or taken out, and 2 restriction zones, 3 and 10 kilometers, were created to monitor the birds and poultry in the area surrounding the farm. It says earlier this month, bird flu was found in wild birds in Denmark's Jutland region. The H5N8 strain of avian influenza, bird flu, is currently circulating in several areas of Europe, including in Germany and France. So watch out for those birds. Don't touch dead birds for damn sure. I have actually seen several. I have not seen some in years, and I remember a few years back, because I was into all this stuff. I was into the mass die-offs as far as, keeping track of all of them. A few years ago, when I was in North Seattle, I saw like 10 crows, and I thought it was the scariest, creepiest thing. And in fact, I want to say I called my then pastor, and I was saying, like, what do you think of that? But I have not seen it. And all of a sudden this week, I've seen several big dead birds along different highways. And I just thought that was weird. I haven't seen it for 3 years, and now I'm all of a sudden seeing it again. Do you see dead birds in your neighborhood, wherever that may be? I would love to hear it. Take photos and send it to us. Make sure to tag us on Twitter and Instagram. Same tag, at Marfoogle. So at MARFOOGLE. And then we've got 2021 is going to be even worse than 2020 as UN warns of multiple famines of biblical proportions. So this is one of the things that I wanted to lead up to because this is huge. when the UN is warning us officially of famines of biblical proportions, we are not. This is not just kind of a silly thing. This is getting serious, and it does give credence to what most people are now thinking, that something is heading up to a hill. Something is running out. Things or resources are and again, I'm not saying that we're running out and some people think that we're just fine. I think it's in the middle of that. I do think that they are going to use certain things to basically say, hey, this is why we need to do this. This is why we need you to move here. This is why this needs to happen, is because the earth is having problems, or earth here or earth there. In the United States and Europe, in Australia, or most of the places that people watch me, you don't see as many of these problems. But all around the world, there is horrible famines, and we're talking worse than any commercial where you donate 31 cents a day. We're talking about extreme famine and people desperate to do anything for food. This is only compounded by the extreme weather that we've been having on Earth. People say that, some people, it's a very small group, say that it's not changing at all. Most people say it's a natural cycle. Well, if it is a natural cycle, and you're right, then that natural cycle is gonna take out a lot of it's gonna make a lot of damage. Let's just say that. As far as floods, extreme weather, changes in our airstream, everything is changing. Is it going one direction in temperature or another? Not going to argue that. You guys can have that argument. But is it changing? I think so, absolutely. And that's what military thinks, and that's what is coming down from the very top down, is that something needs to be changed. And maybe they're just being told that, so they have to enforce this coming change. In October, the Norwegian Nobel Committee announced that the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize had been awarded to the Whole Food Program, a committee that was specifically praised in the UN's branch push to, quote, act as a driving force in efforts to prevent the use of hunger as a weapon of war and conflict. That's a big statement, right? To use hunger as a weapon. It says the Norwegian Nobel's committee recent division to give this year's Nobel Peace Prize to the WFP can seen as a sort of warning to world leaders that 2021 may be even worse than 2020 when it comes to humanitarian situation. David Beasley, executive director of the World Food Program, or the WFP, told the AP news agency. Beasley dubbed the decision, quote, a message to the world that it's getting worse out there and that our hardest work is yet to come. So they're at least telling us that it's getting worse this way, and what ends up happening from that. What do you think happens next? So we'll see. They already say there's shortages of several foods, including survival foods, as far as that actually affects us here. We're talking about tons of different effects are going to come into play from this. If you guys want to support us in a different way, check out NordVPN. It's not only one of the highest rated, but it's also going to help the channel and us move forward. You can get a special savings up to 70% by using the code Marfoogle. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. If you don't have a virtual private network, it basically hides your IP from the bad guys. But not only that, more important than ever, it lets you access outside the United States and other countries with the web. This is going to be powerful. If, say, you can't get out because of where you live, just like Megan, she had a VPN. She was in China when this first started. She was able to put herself somewhere else and actually live stream and get information out. She was even able to get videos out of the heart, the third worst city when this started. She was able to get her video out of China because of a VPN. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. This might actually become a very powerful tool, especially with all the changes happening online. All right, and then Road Rage 1969. I move forward in reverse. Love it. I think that makes complete sense. I love beagles. Nice to see ya. Crazy Taco says. Twisted Luck Truth. Hey, we've got Joseph the Dreamer, Gadget Girl, Phil QC. Ilea says, Kiss the Ground on Netflix is a wonderful documentary that delves into the world of dirt versus living soil. A must watch. Ilea, I would. I just don't have Netflix anymore. But I would love to check it out. I'm sure somebody can send me a copy of it. Thank you for the recommendation, Ilea. And then Chicky R, thank you so much for your support. You can always write something there if you end up doing that. You know that, though. You've been here a long time. So thank you. I guess you're just saying support. Christian Moore, FYT, hard to get notifications. Love to the fam. Christian Moore, that's why, more importantly, let's see here. More important that you know about this, and I'm just going to remind you, if you're missing notifications, go to our website, marfooglenews.com, and make sure to sign up for our push notifications. Click that little red bell, and you'll get a notification directly to your phone. If you're on an iOS, you can't, but what you can do is you can go through Chrome on an iOS, and you can get it that way too, or some combination of that and such. So make sure to sign up for those alerts. All right, and then we have governors bring back severe CV lockdowns, tighten restrictions as cases hit record highs. As CV cases across the United States surge to their highest level since the pandemic began and colder weather sets in, worrying experts about more people gathering inside for the holidays. Governors in several states are reinstating these measures to stem the spread of the virus. So one thing, obviously, I told you guys 4 weeks ago, I said it's coming back. We knew from our grocery store connections as well. We had military saying that they were getting stationed over in Europe. They were going to do some sort of project. National Guard here was being stationed, and they were going to be doing some hospital stuff. I don't even think that part of that's public by as far as some of the stuff that's going to be in the water. But from the grocery stores, too, that they were preparing for a second lockdown. I told you 4 weeks ago, and those of you that listened probably are thanking us just because the lines outside of Costco and some of these grocery stores, if you live in a big city, are absolutely stupid. I mean, there was a 3-mile line outside of the Costco here. That's just nuts. People were waiting for 3.5 hours to go in and see that there's no toilet paper. Duh! Why are people even doing that? Why? Slap somebody when you see them grabbing 50 things of toilet paper. You don't need that. One, toilet paper is one of the few things that you can kind of jimmy rig if you really, if all the toilet paper factories in the world went down, there's other ways to clean. Just saying. But why you can't even get your hands? I saw this one woman in the store last night. She had her arms full of the dinner napkins that you buy for, those square packages of napkins that you would buy for Thanksgiving to, disposable napkins. She had her whole arms full. She didn't even grab a cart. She ran in, and then she angrily talks to a employee and says, "You guys just don't have effing anything, do you?" And the guy's just stalking, and he's like, whoa, doesn't even know what's going on. She's pissed off at the guy. The guy doesn't know what the hell's going on. It's not his fault that people are shopping like idiots. Why are you buying 50 things of napkins when other people can't get toilet paper either? So you're doing the same thing to them when they go to the toilet paper, don't find it. Then they go to the paper towels, can't find it. Then they go to the napkins, and you took them all. It's selfish. It's stupid. But most of you have already prepped up. You already got your stuff because you listened to our warning. We're not trying to say we're right or pat ourselves on the back. We were able to give you a heads up, and I'm super glad that some of you actually listened to it. Because not only are we a YouTube channel, we're a family, and we have people that are out there, and there's tons of people in different positions all around the country that watch. Think about it. Just in a live show, there's 6,000, 10,000, 15,000 that watch. Those are all people with jobs and positions all over the country. That's why we remind you to sign up for our alerts, make sure to get over on the email alerts. It's imperative at this point. We are also, we have no idea what the future holds for this channel. But we do know we are going to get that communication system up. So we will get, Dex will give you an update on that very, very soon. As far as the cases and everything else, lockdowns, obviously it's pretty crazy. The funeral receptions here locally are limited to 30 people. But what's even crazier is you can't even have people over for dinner, right? So people were joking, saying that they were going to have funerals for a pet or something. Oh, our hamster died. We're going to have a funeral on November 26th. I think you get the joke. And only 6 people are supposed to gather or something like this. Different states have done this. Michigan, Washington is one of them. So people are saying they're gonna do workarounds or whatever. I would highly recommend following your local guidelines. Of course, we got to say that for you. But again, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Elon Musk said he and negative for This one's a sensitive one. Here's what you need to know about the different tests. So I'm not going to go all the way into this. In fact, I'll hit it in just a minute. We're going to be switching over to DLive only in just a second. That is the reason why. And by the way, there's some things going on. I'll explain in just a second. It's probably going to be happening until January, to be honest. But we're doing some stuff back and forth. So we're going to get some stuff here done. But we just want to make sure that, yeah, I'll explain later. We want to make sure that there's no excuses or something that can take it wrong to lose the family and lose the platform that we have worked so hard to build. If you guys know how much work we put in, anywhere from 6 to 12 hours a day putting different shows together, 6 being like a short film or a short video, make sure to support us in every way, including following us on other platforms as well. Thank you. As far as that goes, make sure to access this over on marfooglenews.com. We're going to be talking about Elon over on I'm going to be doing some separate videos because there's some stuff that I think everybody should know. Then we have early data shows Moderna's is 94.5 effective. So there's a crazy thing to this. I've never even heard of any of these being that effective. So that's pretty incredible. And of course, they say it's even going to be, we're going to get some help from the military to get this out to the people. So we'll see if this can just go away. Wouldn't that be nice? Right? 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 And moving on. If you don't want to be tracked and traced, I would highly recommend an edek bag. Make sure to go check it out. marfooglenews.com/edek. No signals in or out. Once you put your phone or your device in there, it is off grid. Boom. Savings code Marfoogle. After learning a single dad struggled with confinement and kids in a high-rise, couple lets them use a beach home. It says, as it's been for the case for families all around the globe, the past few months have been stressful for the Smiths, to see the least. And which is funny because they actually put that's an error right there, to say the least. Maybe they meant that, to see the least. Sam Smith is a single father to a 6-year-old Lysander and 3-year-old Zendule. Since lockdown began in England, the family has been largely confined to their one-bedroom apartment on the 15th floor of a high-rise in East London. It's not a very big apartment, just 12 steps from one side of the main room to the other. And with local parks closed, sometimes Sam and the kids have been stuck inside for 23 hours a day. When the family went out to the BBC breakfast show to talk about what it's like to be confined in a very small living area during the pandemic, it says a couple, Ken and Sheila Sims, were watching the interview from their home on the Devon coast. It says Ken grew up in a high-rise apartment building as a young boy and felt especially saddened seeing the difficulties the Smiths were going through. Luckily, he knew just how to help. He could give the Smith family a break by asking them if they would like to spend a week at his cottage in the English seaside. Of course, they said yes to Ken's idea. It says, "I can't find the words," Sam said at the beach on his family's Devon vacation, mentioning at the sky and water all around him, and his young sons making sandcastles. He exclaimed, "It's beautiful." So when I first saw this, I thought it was actually more long-term, which would have been amazing. But that is pretty crazy to say, see some strangers and say, hey, stay at my house for a week and take a break. If there was more stuff like this or more people that would do more things like this, I think we would be in a better place. I think Tucker the other night made a really great point. I don't know if you saw that, but it basically talked about how people in the United States and even Europe and in Australia are generally nice. We do a lot of nice things here. So it's a lot nicer, and you have to have the perspective of compared to other places in the world. Either way, we have amazing people here. We need to unite and stop fighting about who did this or do. Think about it. We are all arguing and fighting tooth and nail with each other on who can lead us. Instead of being leaders, we're arguing about who is going to give us orders. No, my leader is better than your leader. We shouldn't even be. We should be moving forward. Evolution, revolution. I mean, come on, think about it. It's screaming at the top of their lungs. My leader is better than your leader. My person that's going to decide how I live is better than your person how I decide to live. When we should be uniting and being one people in general. Imagine it, though. So, like Reagan's quote, imagine if something was coming from another planet and we all just said, put down our guns, our weapons, everything, and just said, let's team up and be one. There's a few of those moments. If you've ever been in where you've seen an accident and it doesn't matter who's around. I've had 3 instances where it's just randomly you're thrown into a situation where all of a sudden you're cracking a door open and trying to get somebody out. Who's around you? It doesn't matter. Everybody jumps in and tries to help. Or if somebody's stuck under a car, whoever's there, everybody starts lifting. Or if you've been behind somebody, their car dies, and people come from out of everywhere to help push the car out of the way. Not because one might be because they're late to something, but most people just see it and they go, oh, gotta help. We almost need a global threat, right? Perhaps a meteor or something to put us all in line. Maybe that's the plan. What do you guys think? I know that there's somebody who believes in Team Humanity. Sending love and gratitude to you, the Mod Squad, and the Foogle fam. We are the 99%, a.k.a. hashtag Team Humanity. Never forget, says Susan Donahue. I love it. Thank you. Perfect timing, Susan, for your comment. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of the Foogle fam. Henry Dacus, thank you so much for your massive support of the channel. Make sure to write something with that so I can get to know you. I don't believe you've ever done that before, or even I don't know your name, so I'm so glad I've met you. Mark Sketch, have been with you since the start. If I unsub and resub, do I get a shout out and still keep my history showing I subbed years ago? Wanted to get that cleared up. Mark Sketch, I honestly don't think it even pops up on Restream unless you have the multiple on there. But I don't think you would keep your history, but I don't even know how. Can you check how long you've been subbed to somebody? I didn't know if you could actually do that. If so, tell me how. I would not do it. I'll just make a note to shout you out some more. Henry Dacus, again, thank you. Massive support. Thank you so much. or if it's Dacus, I apologize. And then I can't wait to meet up with Foogle Fam in Maryland, says Chicky R. I really hope that we can get this going like now. Hey, Marf, would you Pinky 5 me? I've got over 1,000 people to do it. LOL, since I'm not there to do it with you, you can just poke your own pinky to your palm and it'll count. It's like a silly high five. I don't know. Are you going to green screen something? There you go. We Are Awake News says it is WW3. Governments against the people, no exception, says We Are Awake News with the 1111 1111 donation. Or is it the people versus the people? Don't know. Pretty crazy stuff. All right, so we're gonna take our callers. There is some stuff though. We had some technical difficulties. We were going to take 2 and then 2, but we're going to do them all over on DLive now. We've got some breaking stuff that's going to be talked about over there. We have some breaking stories over there as well. So make sure to follow us over. Dex, obviously, we're going to move over. Let's do a 3-minute intermission. If you're on DLive, you don't have to go anywhere. If you're on YouTube, if you would like to hear the live callers, we already have... we have Mona Lisa, first-time caller, subject lockdowns. We've got Josh, let's see here, uptick in training, talking about military. Elijah, secret space programs and cosmic disclosure. We've got videos, and mainly it looks like we've got videos, so we've got it for reasons of copyright as well. Going to show that over there. So make sure to follow us. Very, very much a different environment. If you, again, check it out, at least give it a try. Dex, I'll see you over there. For the rest of you, be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
Now you know the secret, now you got Now you know the secret, now you gotta go and keep it.
Bam! Bam!
Now you know the secret, now you gotta go and keep it. Now you know the secret, now you gotta go and keep it. Now you know the secret, now you gotta go and keep it.
Bam! That was a sudden stop. What is going on? We're back. My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. All right, now we're going to continue doing some of the stuff that we were already doing. We've got Mona Lisa as a first-time caller. Edek